Okay, so I made a video on my channel and I kind of talked about what I wanted to see from the Dancemoms reunion. I just watched it last night, so I'm going to give you guys my thoughts on it. So first of all, it took way too long to start for one, and I hate whenever they do this with reunions. They do all the backstory going into it. They show us getting ready for the reunion. I don't care, okay? Give me 2 minutes at the beginning before show them getting ready and then let's get to the reunion. Y'all wasted so much time. Also, I feel like the reunion was not long enough. I think it was an hour and some change. We needed 2 hours at least. And to be honest, we needed two parts because there was a lot of questions I had that they didn't even get to, and we'll get to that. And then it's just annoying that Jojo was just trying to shade everyone who wasn't at the reunion. Like Maddie and Mackenzie, I already knew that they weren't going to be there because they left Dance Moms and they meant it. Like, I could talk about it occasionally, but they do their own things. And like, I respect them not wanting to be a part of it. That was their decision. And Nia on social media, she was like, I wasn't busy with school. I just didn't want to be in it. And like, that's a good enough reason for her to not be in it. With everything Nia went through with all that racism and just the way she was treated, I don't blame either of them for not being in it. So Jojo shade, just like, leave the girls alone. Like, honestly, just because you wanted to come back doesn't mean everyone's going to want to be in that situation. So she just annoys me so much. And then something else is that I really liked that Brooke and Paige were there. Like, if you would have asked me who I would have expected to be in the reunion, I thought Nia would have been there before them, to be honest with you. Because Brooke and Paige, I feel like we haven't heard a whole lot about them talking about the show after they left, and especially the way that they left. But, they kind of talked about their exit and how that was for them. That big fight with Abby, get your finger out of my face, the whole situation. And then Kelly said that she basically felt a lot of guilt for the situation. She was like, oh, if I would have followed, like, Melissa instead of Christy, like, where would my kids be? Like, I feel like my kids would still be dancing. I feel like I wouldn't have got divorced. Like, she feels like it changed her whole life. And she says that she feels like she would have handled the situation differently. And even Brooke and Paige, they basically said, like, if they saw Abby in real life, they would ask her, like, how do we get to this point? And just the way that everything went, it was unfortunate. That moment is iconic. They even said, like, they laugh it off, like, seeing that moment, they reenacting it. But, being serious about it, it kind of is traumatic, especially being children, seeing that. But what I didn't like is whenever they asked Kalani to come in to give her perspective on the situation, because that's kind of how they started. And, she was saying Kalani can take both make its place. And then Kalani's like, oh, Jojo, come with me. Why is Jojo here for this? Jojo didn't even join the show to what, season 6? So I don't even know why Jojo was here to begin with. And I just feel like Jojo ate up way too much time in this reunion. As people have pointed out, Jojo is going to have a way different experience, and Kalani for that matter, than Kendall and the rest of the girls. Because Kendall joined season 2. She is not an OG. I don't know why she thinks that she's an OG. You're not an OG. OG stands for original. You weren't an original. You joined in season 2. Same thing for Jill. Like, y'all gotta let that go. And so y'all gonna have different experiences because y'all got to watch the show and then join on. Especially Jojo, for that matter. I don't know if Kalani watched the show a whole lot before she joined and everything. After she was on Abby's other show and Abby got her to join and Kalani was doing her own thing. But yeah, that's completely different because they didn't know what they were getting themselves into. Like, their mom signed up for, I think it was like 6 episodes of a little documentary. Like, that's what they thought it was going to be, and then it blew up, and then it's an entire show. So they didn't really know. You guys knew what you guys were getting yourselves into, and apparently that's what, like, Jojo and her mom said. Like, she was like, it's okay if I'm on the bottom because I'm still going to be, like, talked about a lot in the episode and stuff like that. Like, they knew what it was going to be like. They got themselves prepared for it, and the experience is just so different. You already knew she was going to be harsh versus these girls. Like, they literally grew up with her, and then she just got worse as time went on. But yeah, Georgia just took up way too much time. And then her coming for Christy for saying that Gianna is not a nice person on that TikTok, and them showing that clip of the reunion. It's like, why do we even have to get into that? But she's just so annoying, talking about, oh, this is the worst thing you ever knew, and blah, blah, blah. Like, that was Christy's opinion. And there's a lot of times I don't agree with Christy. I feel like I'm kind of in the middle on her, because I loved her a lot watching her the first, like, time or two. And then when I went to rewatch it, I'm kind of changed my mind on her a little bit, because there's definitely some moments I didn't agree with. But anyways, yeah, like, that was her opinion. So it was just, like, really annoying. So I just don't really care. And Chloe ate her up on that as well. She's like, it was her opinion. Like, she wasn't just saying it unprovoked. Like, they asked her a specific question and she answered the question. So it's just annoying. But I really like seeing Brooke and Paige on there talk about their experience, and Kelly, that was a nice moment. I appreciate their perspective on the reunion. Some things that I really wanted to hear about the reunion that they didn't talk about at all. I wanted them to talk about season 3 nationals whenever Chloe wasn't able to perform her solo and in the group dance because Christy got them kicked out because of that fight with Leslie. Because I hear that fight was staged because they were going to go on vacation. I feel like Christy said something different. So I want to know what the truth is behind that. I wanted them to talk about the Kalani and Maddie duet. I believe believe it was called Two Sapphires, the one that quote unquote broke the show, because that's whenever Paige and Chloe did their duet Wishbone, I think it was called, and they were super excited about it. And then Abby sneaks into solo because she wanted them to place in number one. And so yeah, that was the straw that basically broke the camel's back and everything. And so I wanted them to talk about that. Like whenever they were talking about like a dance, and then Kalani started getting all like teary eyed, they ended up talking about Suicide Hotline. But I really thought they were going to talk about the other dance. And I can appreciate them talking about Suicide Hotline for the record. You know, that was a great dance, helped a lot of people and everything. But I thought they were going to talk about something different. They talked a little bit about the you can be anything kind of moment, but again, break the fourth wall, because like Chloe winning and then Abby going to the judges and being like, oh, like I feel like she didn't deserve to win. Like, of course, like she found a way to change the score. And yeah, so Chloe really won it in my book, and that, and it is what it is. I wanted to talk about season 4 nationals and really break the fourth wall with that, because we all know that Abby said something about Chloe's eye and she didn't say you're washed up. They edited it, and we all know that because Chloe has said that herself. So like, can we be honest for a minute? Like there was multiple things. And another thing was Brooke with the cheerleading. They basically said that Brooke didn't even want to do that. Apparently it was just a plot for the show. Apparently Kendall didn't really leave for candy apples for the show as well, and you know, that was just a plot. So like all of these things, like, can we really break the fourth wall? We know that it was fake. Like, can we just be honest? And that's kind of why I wish that someone else besides Lifetime would have hosted this reunion, because like, let's just be honest with ourselves and let's talk about what really happened behind it. Like, these are moments that I really was itching to know about on the show. Also, I will say, shout out to Dancemoms Uncovered on YouTube, I believe it's called. That's how I know a lot of this behind the scenes stuff, because she does her research and she's coming here with receipts and facts, and she's kind of showing you a bunch of stuff. And then also the girls, just their interviews over the years. So that's how I know all these things as well. So I definitely wanted to add that, because she's definitely doing the Lord's work. Talked a little bit about the Chloe Maddie rivalry, which was really an entire thing by Abby, and I'm sure that Chloe really felt a lot by that. And I am a Chloe truther myself. Chloe's my favorite on the show by far, and I relate to Chloe in ways of like being the underdog, and I had a similar situation to her, so I know what like that feels like. But yeah, like that took a huge toll on her and everything. It would have been nice to have the other girls on here just to hear their perspective, because I watched Dancemoms for them, especially Maddie, because as people say, like being the favorite, that definitely does take a toll, and there was a lot of pressure put on her. So I think all the girls' situations a little different. Like I said, I respect them not being on the show and like their reasons and stuff like that, but they should have broke the fourth wall more. And then they even had this moment where they're talking about how it was hard for Chrissy whenever Chloe came out. And there was some podcast she was on, I found it on the Dance Mom subreddit, and she kind of just explains like she was scared for her and everything that she would have to go through in regards to that situation and everything, because the way that they framed it, it made it look worse than it actually was. But hearing Chrissy's explanation, I could kind of get it more and everything. And you know, they talked about that a little bit. And then what I really like, Kendall ate this one little thing. She clocked Jojo so bad, because Jojo was talking about, I never wanted to leave the show. Abby was always right. She was like, okay, then why did you leave the show? Like, you're saying you didn't want to leave and then you left. And then we all know Jojo got that deal with Nickelodeon, so that's why she ended up leaving. But, you know, she definitely clocked it. And then why are they showing Abby getting cancer and going to prison? Like people said, it kind of felt like manipulative, like you want these girls to feel bad. And I could see them for one way, because you're remembering all the good memories you had with her, like the performances, and before she just kept getting worse throughout the show. But I mean, like, why are you showing that? Like, it doesn't have anything to do with like their experience and stuff like that as well. Another thing I forgot to mention, at the top of the reunion, they were talking about how they had this surprise party for Paige, and Kalani and Jojo weren't invited, and they were like all offended by that. But I mean, y'all didn't even really know them that well whenever they were on the show. When Kalani was getting on the show, that's basically when they were leaving, and Jojo didn't even join until season 6. So I don't know why y'all so mad that y'all weren't invited to something. Like, let's be serious with ourselves for a moment. And yeah, as someone said, this lacked a lot of structure for me. I wanted a lot more structure, and I agree with someone else whenever they said I would have liked for the girls to have their one part, the moms to have their own part, and then they have a part where they come together, because the girls would be saying something and then the moms were in a separate room and then giving their opinions as well. So there was that. There was Chrissy talking about, oh, Melissa is jealous of Jojo. I mean, no shade, why are you jealous of Jojo? Like, yeah, Jojo has her own success and is doing her own thing, but I mean, Maddie is doing very well for herself. I think she was just in West Side Story. Like, she's very successful in her own right. So why would she be jealous of Jojo? Like, that doesn't make any sense. And yeah, I just don't get Christy. Like, honestly, I wish she would have been in this reunion, because at a certain point she says, oh, I don't care about Dance Moms, but then every chance you get to talk about the show, provoked or unprovoked, you're going to talk about it. So it's like, let's just be in the reunion, let's just talk about it. I know she has a podcast with Kelly. I need to start listening to that. I do, because this has really brought me into a full Dance Moms kick. But yeah, the reunion was underwhelming for what I wanted. I just wanted them to talk about more. I wanted it to be longer. I wanted less Jojo. And so maybe they could have had one where it was just the original girls, and then we had the other two, and like they had their own part. But yeah, they just took up way too much for me. So yeah, I mean, we have to keep in mind these are all girls, and you know, they were children, so having that respect for them. I wanted to say I appreciate the girls in general for coming back and talking about their experience, especially Brooke and Paige. I never would have expected it, but you know, they've been through so much on the show and afterwards, and being that famous as a child and just everything they go through there, that has to do a lot. It really does. So kudos to them for talking about their experience. I'm glad that they got that moment to kind of talk about it and clear the air, because you know, there's been a lot of perceptions about them for years, so them having their moment was good. I can appreciate that. Producers, they're a bunch of instigators, and just the way that they structure the reunion and some of the questions they ask, I'm like, why would you ask that? And there were just certain parts I didn't like I said, Jojo's are just very cringy to me. I don't like Jojo, as you probably would have guessed, and so we definitely had some moments there. But yeah, I mean, it was cute for what it was. I'm glad that I at least got to catch it and see it in time. Dance Moms is like one of my favorite shows of all time. Like, if you know me, I love this show. Like, I remember watching it, I fell off of it for some reason, I don't remember why, and then during the pandemic I watched it like 2 or 3 times. Like, I love this show, so for me it just kind of brought back a lot of nostalgia. It makes me want to watch the entire show again, because like I need to. And I did a video where I ranked all the seasons, but I might redo that again with a little bit more detail. But yeah, I just love the show so much and what it's brought to me. Seasons 1 through 4 are goated. I don't care what nobody says. If you've never watched Dancemoms, you have to watch it. It's just so good. It's just such a staple of the time, and I love it to pieces, especially all the dances and the choreography there as well. Abby, evil person, we all agree on that, but you know, I can appreciate the show for what it is. Basically my review of it. If you watched it, let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. But I'm going to do some videos on my channel. I'm going to share my favorite Chloe solos of all time, top 10. Same thing for Maddie, and I'm going to share my favorite group dances. But let's have our moment on the reunion and sound off in the comments below.